Imagine calling into the dark and waiting almost an entire day for the darkness to answer. Not minutes, not hours, a day. That is where Voyager 1 is now. So far from Earth that a radio command needs more than 23 hours just to reach it. By the time the machine replies, another 23 hours have already died in silence. You are not speaking to a spacecraft anymore. You are speaking to a ghost that lives almost one light day away, in a region where even light begins to feel slow. Most people imagine Voyager 1 as a noble silver pilgrim, gliding peacefully through a soft black ocean, carrying humanity's memory like a lantern among the stars. But that image is a lie. There is no peaceful ocean out there, no gentle sea of stillness. Beyond the sun's protective bubble, the dark is not empty. It is threaded with magnetic fields, haunted by plasma, crossed by particles born in violence, and stirred by old shockwaves from stars that died long before this machine was built. Voyager 1 is not sailing through peace. It is drifting through the aftermath of things too large to hate us and too ancient to notice us. And yet we keep imagining beauty. We imagine the golden record shining on its side like hope. We imagine a brave little emissary carrying songs, greetings, laughter, and proof that on one small world, life once learned to sing. But the farther Voyager goes, the more that record changes shape. Out there, it no longer feels like a promise. It feels like a memorial. A gold-plated artifact fixed to the hull of a machine that may outlive the species that made it. A message not to the future, but from the dead. To understand why Voyager 1 became the loneliest object ever made, you have to return to the crime scene, Saturn, and Titan, because that was the place where its future was taken from it. Voyager 1 was launched in 1977 with a twin, Voyager 2. Two mechanical siblings, two cold hearts lit by plutonium, two explorers sent outward to rob the darkness of its secrets. But at Saturn, one decision changed everything. NASA wanted Titan. Titan with its hidden surface, its thick atmosphere, its chemical mystery. To get that close look, Voyager 1 had to take a path that would throw it upward, out of the main plane of the solar system. Uranus was lost. Neptune was lost. The grand road ahead was cut away. Titan did not merely welcome Voyager 1, Titan stole the rest of its destiny. Before that exile, Voyager 1 was forged in violence. At Jupiter, it passed a world of giant weather and colossal unrest. NASA's own observations showed an atmosphere more turbulent than earlier visitors had seen. This was no calm marble in space. Jupiter was a storm kingdom, a spinning empire of pressure, lightning, and rage. Voyager did not begin its legend in silence. It began inside planetary brutality, where gravity was law and weather became architecture. The loneliest object in human history was not born lonely. It was tempered in chaos. Then came Titan, a world that looks at first glance disturbingly familiar. Clouds, rain, rivers, lakes, seas. The language is Earth's language, but the meaning is wrong. Titan is the only place besides Earth known to have liquids on its surface, and that is exactly what makes it terrifying. Its rivers do not carry water. Its lakes are not mercy. Its seas are liquid hydrocarbons, methane and ethane pooled beneath a sky thick with nitrogen. It wears the mask of home while refusing every human instinct about home. It is Earth translated into a colder alphabet, a near memory of life rewritten by something merciless. And still, like all the most cursed places, Titan whispers possibility. Voyager 1 helped reveal that Titan's atmosphere is rich in nitrogen, methane, and more complex hydrocarbons. The kinds of chemistry that suggest prebiotic reactions may be possible there. A nightmare can still hold the ingredients for creation. That is the cruel poetry of the outer solar system. Even as one machine begins its slow death in the dark, the worlds it touched may still be rehearsing the first lines of life. And Jupiter, too, left us another wound of hope. Europa, a moon now believed to hide a salty ocean beneath ice, with chemistry, energy, and the conditions that life might use if it dares to begin. Then Voyager 1 reached the edge, and the edge did not look like an edge. There was no wall, no gate, no final line drawn in fire. The heliopause, the border where the sun's rule begins to fail, was invisible. Voyager 1 crossed it in 2012 and became the first human-made object to enter interstellar space. But the crossing was not immediately obvious. The one instrument that should have confirmed it most clearly had died years earlier. So the spacecraft passed through one of the greatest frontiers in human history half-blind, and Earth did not at first know if the exile had truly left home. What happened next feels less like astronomy and more like eavesdropping on a haunted house. Scientists began listening to the medium around Voyager 1. Not looking, listening, and in that nearly impossible dark, the spacecraft detected oscillations in the plasma around it. Then came the whistles. Then later, the faint continuous hum. A real signal, a real interstellar tone. Not silence, but a thin ghost sound in the black, electrons trembling in a region no human being will ever enter. Even NASA describes the crossing as a bumpy ride. The threshold between our star's domain and the interstellar medium was not a door. It was a disturbed frontier, a rough seam in reality where one kingdom of influence gave way to another. If this journey already feels like a descent, stay with it. Because some mysteries do not reveal themselves to the impatient. They wait in the static, they wait in the delay, and if you want to keep following these last human whispers into places the sun can no longer protect, then remain here with me. Subscribe and continue this voyage into the dark. One signal at a time, because Voyager 1 did not only cross into strangeness, it began to change there. In November of 2023, something went wrong. The spacecraft was still speaking, but the message coming back was useless. Not science, not health data. Just broken information, corrupted meaning. Engineers on Earth stared into a stream of nonsense from the farthest machine we had ever built. It was the kind of failure that feels disturbingly human. Not a dead voice, a confused one, as if distance, radiation, and age had finally reached into the spacecraft's mind and loosened something essential. And to heal that confusion, humanity had to perform one of the loneliest acts in engineering history. A command was written on Earth, then sent outward. Then everyone waited. For more than 23 hours, the fix moved through the abyss toward a machine older than most of the people trying to save it. Then another 23 hours passed before the answer returned. Nearly 2 days between question and reply. Nearly 2 days of not knowing whether the patient at the edge of interstellar space would recover. Eventually, the engineers restored usable engineering data, then science data, then all 4 operating science instruments. But something changed in the story after that. Once you hear a machine babble in the dark, you can never again pretend it is immortal. Because survival has a cost, and that cost is now coming due. Voyager 1 lives on the heat of decaying plutonium. Its power source weakens year by year. NASA says the Voyagers lose about 4 watts of power every year, and so the mission has become a kind of ritual sacrifice. Instruments are switched off to keep the body alive. In February 2025, NASA shut down Voyager 1's cosmic ray subsystem to save power. More cuts will follow. One by one, the sensors are being extinguished so that the heartbeat can continue a little longer. This is not the first time Voyager chose blindness over death. Long ago, after taking the images that gave us the pale blue dot, its cameras were shut down to conserve power. The witness turned away from the world it loved so it could keep going. No more pictures, no more looking back. Just motion, just duty. Just the long mechanical obedience of an explorer that had already seen enough to break your heart. And still it moves. More than 15 billion miles from Earth, more than 25 billion kilometers away, closing in on the eerie milestone of 1 full light day from home. Every statistic sounds like a curse. Every number feels less like distance and more like severance. Voyager 1 is not merely far from us. It is being slowly translated into another category of existence, something no longer near enough to command, no longer close enough to comfort, and soon, perhaps, no longer able to answer at all. NASA believes careful power saving may keep at least one instrument alive into the 2030s. May. That word matters, because NASA also admits that unforeseen trouble could end the mission sooner. Every day could be the last, one final pulse, one final carrier wave, one final whisper rising out of interstellar black before the transmitter falls permanently silent. And when that happens, Voyager 1 will not stop. That is the most unsettling part. The voice will die before the motion does. The mind will go dark before the body rests. So where is Voyager 1 right now? It is beyond the heliopause, beyond the weather of Earth, beyond rescue, beyond every ordinary human feeling about what it means to be far away. It is a relic moving through interstellar plasma, a scar of intelligence drifting through a region shaped by magnetic fields, old stellar violence, and the fading influence of the sun. It is our last witness in a place we cannot follow. A machine launched in 1977, still obeying commands from a civilization that is itself fragile, temporary, and already practicing disappearance. And one day, long after its signal is gone, it will still be out there. Cold, silent, moving. Long after. The voices on Earth have changed. Long after cities fall, languages vanish, and the hands that built it are forgotten by dust. Voyager 1 will remain as a small piece of metal and intention, crossing a darkness too vast to remember our names. That is the warning hidden inside its journey. We do not conquer the universe. We cast fragments of ourselves into it and hope they keep moving after we no longer can. And if you want to keep listening to those fragments, to the last echoes, the buried signals, the beautiful and terrifying mysteries waiting beyond the reach of sunlight, subscribe and stay with me in the dark.